Hi Samantha, welcome to the Institute. How have you been for the week?
So far I've been okay.
Do you want to talk about what's been happening from your past before you came here?
Sure. So I got married when I was 20, and he was the best person ever. Absolutely wonderful. And then we were married for 15 years. We do have two wonderful kids together that are with me here. It happened about 5 years ago. He started coming home later. He started drinking more, and nothing that I did would ever make him happy. And I never understood why. But I'd say about 5 years ago, when he started getting upset, he started getting emotionally abusive. So he'd always call me fat or ugly or tell me that I couldn't do any better. And then probably about 2 years ago, he started physically attacking me.
Okay.
So I'd come home, and he would just be waiting. Like, he always knew he was drinking. He always smelled like alcohol. You could always just tell.
Okay.
And I'd always think, okay, this is the last time. He's never going to touch me again. But then as soon as he was sober, he was fine. He was nice. He was the same person that I'd married 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's only when he drinks. But then I never know what to do.
Okay. So it started 5 years ago. He started the emotional abuse, and then 2 years ago it started becoming physical. How did your children have the same?
Oh, no. He is a good father, which is a good thing.
Okay.
It's just towards me. He doesn't touch my children. Lacey is 4 and Malcolm is 7.
Okay.
So he doesn't touch them. He loves to play with Malcolm. He takes Lacey out on day trips all the time. It's only at nighttime when he comes home every time day from work. He'll have like a glass of wine or a beer, and then he starts getting abusive. My children are young, so they're in bed by 7.
Okay.
So that's when it usually starts.
All right. So he's never gone any farther of hurting you, like where you couldn't physically move?
He did break my arm once, but that was an accident. We were fighting at the top of the stairs, and I went to turn to go away, and he went to grab my arm, and my hand slipped out of his, and I ended up falling down the stairs. But that wasn't his fault. That was probably my fault.
So how are you feeling towards the situation? Do you want to go back to with your husband, or do you want to move forward?
I think for my kids' sake, what I want is I want to help him get better. But after the last incident, I don't think I could ever go back to him.
Okay. What happened in the last incident?
That's why I'm here. So it was last week, and my kids were away at summer camp. I sent them on a day trip. So it was one night overnight. And I came home from work. I got home about 7 o'clock. I stayed a little extra because I asked for my help, and I couldn't call home because I work in a call center, and I can't use the phone to call home, so I never called home. So he got really angry that I was late, and as soon as I walked in the door, he was sitting at the table with a beer in his hands and a knife in the other. So immediately I did call the police, because most of the time I know he doesn't want to hurt me. He can't help it. He's not there anymore. It's like something's in his eyes and it's gone. It's not even really him anymore. So I ran upstairs, I grabbed the phone, and I hid in the bathroom. The bathroom's the only only room in the house that locks. So I went in there and I called the police. But eventually he did end up getting in the door. He started knifing at the door. So the door is broken. But the police did show up. He is in custody right now. But he will get out soon, and then I don't know. That's why I'm here. I'm thinking that what if he gets out and comes and finds me?
Yes.
Here he can't get in, but what happens when I leave?
Yes. So this is when we can put action into what's happening. We can get a restraining order against him. Do you want him to see his children still, or do you?
But I do want him to see his kids.
And so, since your children, they have never been physically hurt or mentally, do you think eventually your husband could turn towards them to express his anger?
I mean, of course I'm afraid of that, but I don't know. He's never been anything but amazing to my children, so I don't know where to go further. I don't want to make the mistake that tell my kids they can't see their dad, and then he gets better, and then he's fine, but I also don't want to go, okay, you can be near my kids, and what if he hurts them to get back at me? Or what if he uses them to try to get back with me? Just don't know what to do.
That's very true, but you once said that he was so happy with you and you never thought anything could happen, but now he could turn around and do the same thing to your children, what he done to you. You don't
You're right,
want to put
but
your
do you
children
think
at
that I
risk.
would win in a court case if I took him to court?
Well, there is good evidence that you could win, It all depends on what the court is thinking. Let's focus not on the future but the past so that we can move forward in your life and get you out of this rough spot.
Okay, I guess that's a good idea.
And how are you feeling about adjusting and being in here, in this institute?
It's kind of good and bad because I feel safe in here, but I can't live here forever. And my kids can't live here forever. They need to go to school. So what happens if like they go to school and something happens? So I feel like I can protect them in here, but this isn't a place we can stay forever. So all I keep thinking is things that I can do in the future, but I don't know if any of them are going to be the best thing possible.
So I see that you're feeling scared, but the best way to overcome fear is to talk about it. And that's what we're exactly doing right now to help you. So let's do a quick summarization. You were 5 years ago in a happy place, but then verbal abusement happened, and then 2 years ago, the physical abusement happened. And now you're here because the physical abuse has become so hard for you that you couldn't deal with it. So I want you to make a journal for me to write your daily feelings on how you're feeling. Even if you're thinking about the past, I want to know what you're thinking. So the next session we can talk about what's happening. Does that sound good?
Sure.